Hello, and welcome to episode 161 of Ready to Mosh. I'm Kev P, and alongside me is the animal to my doomsday. It's Jem G.
I'm the animal and you're the doomsday.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, I suppose.
So it's part 2, Bloodstock review.
Yeah.
And this is, I don't know how many days later.
Well, this time last Thursday. It's Thursday, by the way. It is Thursday. Looking at an invisible calendar that's fallen off the wall. This time last week, we were probably watching Hellripper, South of Salem, maybe in between.
I'm not sure.
I know.
I feel like it would have been South. Ooh, I can't remember.
I feel like they probably just finished.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
God, a week ago already.
I know, shocking. So, should we talk about a few bits first before we start on the reviews?
Yeah, just some general stuff that we didn't cover in part 1 that we thought we'd start with so we don't forget when we start talking about Saturday and Sunday.
And start turning into Columbo. One more thing.
Yeah, because we've been there, we've done that. We'll do it again.
Mm-hmm. First off, merch. We didn't pick any up at the festival.
No, so firstly, I was to blame for us not getting Click and Collect because I thought it finished about a week after it did. However, in my defence, from what I've read about Click and Collect queues, I think we probably chose a better option to do it this way anyway.
Yeah, I saw the Click and Collect queues a few times and they look bigger than the normal merch queues.
Yeah.
They were pretty bad.
And we went, it was later on Thursday actually, possibly after we escaped the tent from Hellripper. I say escape like it was a bad thing, we were just hot. Listen to part 1, we'll tell you why. And we wandered over to the merch because it was dark, wasn't it? We thought, God, look now, it might not be busy.
And it was bad.
It was busy.
I feel like the best time was first thing Sunday morning. It didn't seem as bad then.
But everything had sold out already.
Pretty much, yeah.
You could see, I think, on Saturday when I walked past, at least they put stickers on to tell you what's sold out or what's left.
Yeah.
So you're not queuing for nothing. But we have since acquired merch because they released some a couple of days ago. Plenty of it as well, not like other festivals go, oh, there's a limited run and then there's like 3 things in extra small or triple XL.
Yeah, they're no good to anybody. So
we've got what we wanted in the right sizes and had to pay postage, but I think that's, what's the word? Worth a sacrifice worth making rather than standing in a queue for 3 hours.
Yeah. Next up, Bloodstock app.
Yeah, I just wanted to give that a mention just because I think it works really well.
It did, but I don't know if it was the Clash Finder that was out or if it was people finishing early, but the Architects, it said on the Clash Finder it was 10:40. They were due to finish and they came off at 10:30.
Yeah, there were a couple of other bands higher up the bill, lower down the bill, whichever way you want to say, that seemed to finish about 5 minutes earlier than expected.
Yeah.
But unless that's kind of showing their curfew time and bands maybe just do a set list that's slightly shorter.
To kind of accommodate
kind of allow for any delays or anything. But just in terms of the way it works offline and you can put your different colours on it. And I just think it's really useful. I mean, we had a spreadsheet as well because we're nerdy and had to account for other things as well. Yeah, compared to some festival apps, I think it works really well.
Another one of the things we love about Bloodstock is the cups at the bars that have all the different bands on them. Yeah,
it's really nice to not just have a well-known branded beer on your cup.
Yeah.
If they're not plastic ones.
Yeah, and it's nice to have nice drinks.
Oh, that too, yeah.
Because what I do like, although we do generally drink more in Serpent's Lair than anywhere else, but that's because we're kind of there a lot to do stuff.
Yeah, and that tends to be our go-to for a sit-down between bands or other things.
Yeah, and we have to go through there to get to where we're going to camp.
Yeah, that as well.
So it sort of makes sense if we're in that area.
Yeah, it does. We tend to often watch from that side of the stage as well, so it's nearer, and it's close to the Sophie stage as well. So,
but they still have nice drinks everywhere anyway.
Yeah.
And they got Malevolence on cups this year.
Yeah, the Wanted posters.
Wanted posters, cool. They were really cool.
I remember seeing Trivium on there, which I guess was probably a precursor to them being announced for next year.
Do you know what? That never even occurred to me at the time.
And I feel like Amon Amarth was on.
Amon Amarth were on one, I think.
And I always feel like I want to keep them as a souvenir, but obviously they've had a drink it. You can't really wash a paper cup very well.
No.
I'm saying that looking at a Frank Carter Sailor Jerry cup that I've had for about 5 years.
Yeah.
That I did wash out. But yeah, and it's like, what are you really going to do with them?
Not a lot.
We've got a cupboard full of plastic cups already.
Yeah, I think we're doing fine for cups.
So yeah, we just either popped them in the recycling or gave them to the cup wombles that were gathering as always.
Yeah. So it was an early start Saturday after a late Friday night.
Yeah, it was late-ish Friday night, wasn't it? And a noisy night in the campsite, I will just say as well. You didn't notice any of it, but
I didn't know.
no, some of the tent neighbours felt the need to have an argument in the middle of the night, which I heard even through my earplugs.
Yeah, I heard a few people talking about that, and I was oblivious to it.
Yeah, and I was starting to think I'd imagined it till I heard the people in the tent next door saying that they'd heard it as well.
Nobody thought it was us.
I know, I worried about that after, because it was like a male and female argument at one point, but then it just sounded like, I think the female disappeared, and then it was a further argument later on that was just male.
Okay.
From what I remember. But yeah, I was like, oh, do you think it was us? But surely you'd be able to tell if you were right next to us. Like, I could tell the vague direction it was coming from.
Yeah.
Anyway, didn't really need to share that, but there we are.
Yeah, up early, went for a shower. The coldest shower of my life. My penis was like a press stud.
But everyone wanted to know that, didn't they?
I just want people to understand how cold it was. I was fucking freezing.
Mine was intermittent and ended cold. And as with all festival showers, I guess the push button things, they come on for however many seconds, I don't know, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever. The last press I did was absolutely freezing and was going on forever. And I just thought it was never going to stop. And I was just going to have to run out dripping because I couldn't move anywhere to get out of the way of it to dry myself. So I thought it was going to be a towel wrap and run, but it did stop eventually.
Yeah. And the queues for the showers were really bad on Saturday morning as well, actually.
It felt like only half the cubicles were being used.
It did. I don't know if all of the cubicles were working, to be honest.
So I don't know, because someone went and checked them all, because we stood there saying, yeah, those end two have not been touched for a long time. Maybe they've locked them to stop people using them because they broke. I don't know.
It's very possible, but I feel like it was about 6 out of the 8 that were working.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we showered in the end. We were clean.
Yeah.
And Saturday was dinosaur day as well. We did not partake.
No. I didn't see as many dinosaurs as I thought I would.
I saw quite a lot, and I filmed a few.
Yeah. Like, I'd seen them all weekend, but I was expecting Saturday to be like just a sea of dinosaurs.
I think there were enough. As great as it was to see all the ones that I did see as well, at times it was a bit like, I can't see the stage because there's a giant dinosaur in front of me, or the tail was sticking out and people couldn't get past.
Yeah.
Not the most practical of fancy dress, but it did look cool. And obviously in the heat as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see some very warm-looking half-dressed dinosaurs. Anyway, the reason for the early start on Saturday was we had Running with Knives on the New Blood stage. And you also had Cauldron
on the Sophie stage.
And we were going to be running with Knives. I don't think we were allowed to do that. We were going to be interviewing Running with Knives later in the day, so obviously wanted to go and watch them. And we saw them win their Leicester final this year, and we're fans of them anyway. So
yeah,
even if we weren't interviewing them, we would have been there to watch them. And yeah, they just put on a great performance. And I think for me, they really epitomised what New Blood is about, because you could just see it in their performance, how much it meant to them to be there.
Yeah.
Which they obviously talked about later on when we spoke to them, but you could just tell how much it meant to all of them. And they were just really energetic, put on a great show as they always do, and definitely worth getting up for.
Yeah, I'd got bands back to back that I wanted to watch in the Sophie stage. I didn't want to watch Running with Knives, but I thought it makes more sense if we watch more bands between us.
Yeah.
And yeah, Cauldron were absolutely amazing. First time I've seen them, and really want to watch them again now. Yeah,
I would have liked to watch them too, but obviously you can't watch everyone, so you have to pick your priorities.
Yeah, it was kind of like divide and conquer, wasn't it? It just made more sense to do that. And I think I based it on, I've seen Running with Knives twice, but never seen Cauldron before.
Yeah, makes sense.
So although I really wanted to watch Running with Knives, it's good to kind of watch another band as well.
And then after Running with Knives, I nipped over to the Sophie stall, as always, to pick up some bits and bobs. So the traditional festival wristband that we always get, one each of those.
Mm-hmm.
I always stock up on pens from them as well, because who doesn't need lots of pens? Got a couple of badges as well, and then I was just about to pay, and I spotted that they got some trolley coins as well, which is always handy to have.
Yeah.
So got one of those as well. They did actually have some other bits of merch, really, like vests and stuff, so I thought about going back at one point when I got a bigger bag to put them in, but I didn't get a chance. I'll acquire some at some point. And then while I was doing that, Deities were on the main stage, who I wanted to kind of catch a bit of anyway, so I went and stood and watched 20 minutes or so of them. They were really good. Some nice fake blood on the faces for that time of day.
Yeah.
Really intense as well for that time of day, but definitely enjoyed.
Yeah. And I watched my second band in the South Stage, which was On People, who blew me away. Like, they were really a good standout band on Saturday. And I remember coming out and meeting up with you and just telling you how good they were. I was really excited.
Yeah, again, they were another one that I would have liked to have watched, but can't be everywhere at once, because I also wanted to watch Biomechanimal on the New Blood, so I didn't really want to run from New Blood, watch a bit of Main, Sophie, to run back to New Blood.
Yeah.
And we were actually camped next to Biomechanimal, and they're on my list to watch anyway, but they just happened to be camped next to us. Yeah, they were a bit delayed starting, actually. When I got back to them, or back to the New Blood rather, after watching Deities, I expected them to be pretty much started, but they were still doing some sound checks. And then you came across to watch some of them anyway.
Yes. Yeah, really good. And I always like it when you've watched somebody that's kind of there and you kind of know to a point, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed them. They've got that kind of crossover metal, electronic kind of thing going on that I like. I think they played more of a heavier set from what I gathered, obviously tailored to their audience as well. And yeah, the tent was bouncing. It had got really busy by that point. And yeah, definitely one to recommend watching again if you can.
And then after Biomechanical, we watched Stone Soup.
Yeah, so I had a good run I had a good run at least of New Blood, back to back for 4 bands.
Yeah, I mean, I still caught 2, I think, back to back. And I was really impressed with Stone Soup. There was something different to everything else.
Yeah, you find that as well with New Blood, don't you?
Yeah.
It's really interesting as well to see like the different genres that come out of Metal to the Masses in particular, and what's gone down well in particular areas that year. Because it's easy to think it'd all be the same, if you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, because part of you kind of expects it's going to be a lot of thrash bands or a lot of potential stoner bands, or sludge.
Yeah.
And it's not. It is, you do get thrash, stoner, sludge, but you also get Stone Soup, who I've never seen anybody at New Blood play a harmonica before.
I haven't personally, no. But even like with the finals for Metal to the Masses that we've seen this year and last year, and lineups for ones that we've not been to, but you've seen the posters for, you can see on there the different varieties that you get in the competition.
We saw that. Was it Leicester, where International Trucking were very different to everybody else? And they still got a great reception, and they could have arguably won that this year. It's just great to see so many different types of things coming through, because you're not pigeonholed into, we've got to sound like this to get there. And that's what I really liked about Stone Soup. They were completely different to every other band, played New Blood, and I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, same. It's nice to get that variety in your day.
Men's food time?
Yeah, we planned things out a bit better than we'd done on Friday, having to do a mad dash for some garlicky food before interviews. Yeah,
we also, because there was the next band that we'll talk about, we wanted to block out for that period as well anyway.
That's true, yeah. That's kind of how we planned things out. Some absolute definites cannot miss bands.
And it worked out spot on. And we went for the Gyozas.
Yeah, I had them at download, the mushroom ones with chips. And that just happened to be parked near the New Blood stage anyway, so it was handy.
Yeah, the queue wasn't too bad either.
No. I again went for the mushroom Gyozas, but I had rice with mine this time. I think it's the first time I've ever eaten rice at a festival.
Oh, I'm not sure about me.
What, whether you've had rice?
Before, yeah.
Okay.
Because I had the pork ones.
Actually, I'm telling a lie, because that lovely Indian street food store we get at Uprising has rice.
Yeah.
Okay, ignore me.
And I always have rice at Mangala.
You do actually. I usually have noodles there if it's the same food stall. Anyway, you had the
pork belly Gyozas, which the sauce and everything about it and everything else was really, really nice. But the dumplings themselves, they were just they were fine, but they just didn't blow me away. Like, they were nice, but I was kind of like, oh, okay.
Oh, I really enjoyed mine because I love mushrooms.
In hindsight, I'd have probably gone for the mushroom ones.
Oh, maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
And you also got a big cheer when you picked up the order because you had number 69.
Yeah, first one of the day.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew that happened at some point that weekend.
Yeah, so there were some benches near there, so we just parked up and ate them on there. and then had a wander over to the Sophie tent.
Yeah, for a band that are definitely up there as one of the bands of the weekend, definitely the band that day for me. That was Ludovico Technique.
Yeah, it was a band that I don't think either of us had heard of prior to Bloodstock, but that stood out to both of us when we were listening to playlists and checking out all the bands as we do. And we both were like, well, yeah, these are good.
Yeah, I remember, I think I listened to Ludovico Technique before you. And I think I came into you and said, I found a new favourite band.
I think you did actually. And then I remember I put the kind of their playlist or, your top tracks that you get on Spotify, and Haunted came on and I was like, yes, this is a bit of me.
So I didn't tell you who it was either.
Mm.
And I can't remember if I came into you or you came into me and you just went, I know it is.
Yeah.
I know what you like and I know you'll like this.
Yes, a new love was born.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. I loved the sound, like the sound live was really fucking good. I actually watched it from different positions through the set as well.
You did actually, didn't you? I kind of went in one place and you came in just after me because you'd picked a drink up.
Yeah, I think it was just about to start when I got in.
Yeah.
And I went to where we always go, and you weren't there. So I started off at the back near the sound desk and listened to a few tracks there, and it was incredible. But you kind of expect it to be incredible near the sound desk.
Yeah.
And then I went from the sound desk down the right-hand side of the stage, had an even better view, and the sound was just as good there. And Ben was just wandering off stage and still singing.
Yeah, he did a lot of wandering.
He did a lot of wandering.
And yeah, he made full use of the stage space, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he basically just walked down the side and right round. I thought he was going to walk out the tent at one point.
Yeah.
And yeah, just kind of like did a big loop and then suddenly appeared in the middle of the stage again. And then I think I got a message finally came through from you and it said you were on the other side. So then I had to fight my way around because it was pretty busy. And yeah, made it down to the left-hand side for you and the sound was just as good there too.
Yeah, I pretty much started there. I did go for a wander down the back to see if you were down there and you weren't, so I went back down to where I was. It was just because it was so kind of getting warm and humid in there, I just stayed on the open side.
Yeah, well, you got a bit more breeze, yeah. But yeah.
Well, we were both a bit gutted, really, that we didn't realise they were just at the end of, Bloodstock was the end date of a few nights UK tour.
I know.
Because to see that in a smaller venue would have been amazing.
Would have blown me away. And we could have possibly got tickets for that as well.
I know.
A venue that, although it's not close, it's within probably 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's not that far, Sheffield, is it?
No. And it was the day before my birthday.
Yeah.
That would have been a perfect birthday present.
Oh.
Bollocks.
Well, it was the first time in the UK, so hopefully they'll be back.
I really hope so. Yeah, it was the first UK tour, and if and when they come back, go and watch them because they're just unbelievable.
Then after them, we did have to make our way back over to New Blood because we wanted to watch Convey. We were going to be talking to soon after their set.
Yeah, that one was another quick turnaround, wasn't it?
Yeah. And again, another New Blood band that stood out for us when we were going through them all.
Yeah, again, like with the quality of the New Blood, like last year was brilliant. And I think this year it got even stronger. Just so many bands I wanted to see. And like bands that I sacrificed the bigger bands for because I wanted to watch the New Blood bands.
Yeah, the same. And looking back at the bands on New Blood in particular that I didn't see, there's so many that I would have loved to have watched. I guess the bonus of not seeing them on the New Blood, although it would have been amazing from their perspective, is these bands are more likely to tour in the local area at our local venues, aren't they, I guess?
I suppose, yeah.
So
there is more chance of that.
So yeah, we've got a list that we didn't get to see that we're definitely going to be looking out for coming around our way. And then after Convey, it was a sprint back to Serpent's Lair because we'd got an hour full of interviews to do back to back.
Yeah, we had initially 4, which turned into 5.
Yeah, which seems to be a theme for us. We always end up with at least one off the cuff one, don't we?
Yeah. So we started off with Parting with Origins.
That was before their EMP set, I think, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And you could kind of see I think it was a combination of nervousness, excitement, anticipation, but they were really good fun to talk to.
Yeah, I don't know if we said it in part 1 actually, but kind of you get the two sides of
Bloodstock,
the New Blood band,
yeah.
don't you? You get the ones who've just been on stage and they're buzzing still, and then you've got the ones who are kind of got that nervous excitement because we're talking to them before the set.
Yeah. And then you interviewed Running with Knives.
Yeah, and it was a few hours after their set actually, but they were still definitely
They
on a
were
hardy
still
comeback.
giddy,
Yeah,
yeah. I think they were still giddy, but they'd had a bit of time to come down from what they'd just been doing.
a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it was great to chat with them because we didn't get a chance to at Uprising after they'd won the final, unfortunately. So they were definitely on our hit list for interviews for this time.
Then I interviewed Stone Soup, and again, it was not long after they'd been playing, so they were still kind of in a very giddy kind of can't believe this has just happened kind of moment, which I think it does come through on the interviews. You can really see it, and you can see how much it means to a lot of these bands.
Yeah, like I said with Running with Knives, when they were on stage, it just shone through how much it meant.
Then you interviewed Convey.
Yeah, and again, it was about an hour since they'd come off stage.
Yeah, I think they pretty much literally got this stuff off stage and then they were doing press.
Yeah.
I think we were one of the first ones they talked to.
Yeah, I think we had a similar one on Sunday actually when we get there. But yeah, they were obviously still on a high from being there, being on the stage. And yeah, I think as well what I always find quite, I don't know what the word is, but when we chat to some of the New Blood bands that have already played and we said, oh yeah, we came to watch you, and they often seem quite surprised that we did. I don't know whether they just think we hang around in the press area all day. But it's like, no, we're trying to watch as many as we can as well.
To be honest, there are a lot of media outlets that do that.
That's true,
they don't watch any of the bands. And as an example, we spoke to a band, and we'll talk about it later on. There's a band we spoke to on Sunday, and the person that was running their press for them said, oh, here's all the blurb for the band. And it's like, because we'd already pre-booked the interview with them. And we said, it's fine. We've already got everything prepared. We know who they are. We've watched, we've
got our question.
We've got our questions. It's all good. Seen them. I think that was surprising for those as well. It's like most people, I think, like you say, expect that people who are doing press are just going to be there and that's it. They're not going to move. And like we say, some people do, but we want to watch as well. Yeah,
particularly with the New Blood, I think they don't expect people to come and watch them that are doing the press as well.
Yeah, I suppose they don't really.
But obviously our purpose isn't just to interview, it's to review as well, so we try and get the right balance.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain bands we block out, but we will try and support the New Blood as much as we can because we're big fans of it. Anyway, slightly sidetracked there.
As always.
As always, off on a tangent.
Another side quest complete.
Yeah, and while we were just about to interview, I think it was Stone Soup, we were approached by somebody else who was doing press for someone that were playing the New Blood, and that was Sempra, who were the Polish Metal to the Masses winners.
Yeah, it was a bit similar, I think, to Who High, you know the band from last year, who were kind of there and they'd not got any kind of press booked in, so they'd got someone just trying to see
if they
what they could get.
Yeah.
So obviously, if we've got time to do it, we're always happy to do so.
Yeah, 100%. And we did have time for another interview, so we spoke to Sempra, and they were the sweetest, loveliest people that I think we interviewed. They were just they were really kind of, I don't know. I think they might have been, I feel like they were a little bit overwhelmed.
When you think about it though, obviously for the majority of New Blood bands, it's like their first time playing a festival of that size, if any festival. Probably their first time experiencing a press tent. And they're in their home country at that. So they're kind of used to certain things. And a lot of them have been to Bloodstock themselves, whereas this is a band coming from a completely different country. They've never been to the festival before. They're there not speaking their first language.
Yeah.
So if you add all that on as well, it's bound to be quite overwhelming, isn't it?
And so we did kind of like a very off-the-cuff kind of interview, because obviously we'd not got anything prepared because we didn't know we were going to interview them.
No, we'd got a bit of bio information because obviously on our New Blood preview, we went through everybody. So we'd got that to hand.
Yeah. And one of the things that I loved about them as well, because they were kind of like really sort of like a little bit overwhelmed, like I said, but when they said, we hope our English was okay. We're really worried about it. It's like, your English is fine. You speak English better than most of the people I know.
And we still gave them the quick fire round and they were fine with it.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. Yeah. They were absolutely amazing. And really good band to interview. So after all of those interviews, and for anybody who wasn't at Bloodstock, it was so hot again. It was really, really hot on the Saturday.
Well, it wasn't first thing though, was it?
It wasn't first thing, but by this time, this is getting on for 3:30, and it was really hot then. And we made an executive decision and went, we've got an hour and a half at least before we do our next interview. Let's go and have a sit down, recharge, and then we're ready for the next part.
Yeah, because there wasn't really anywhere we could sit in the shade and we were getting a bit melty, weren't we, at that point?
Yeah.
And I think, did we need to get a water bottle as well? Because we'd not got that with us. Because it was quite cloudy when we set off for the day.
Yeah. So we needed to get a couple of bits and it just made sense to we got that gap. However, it did mean missing Deicide.
Yeah, I was a bit torn. I think my initial intention was to go back to the tent, have some water, put some things down that I didn't need for the rest of the day, like a top that I was wearing first thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't as warm. And then run, in the loose sense of the word, back to Deicide, but I just got a bit comfy in the shade.
Yeah.
So really sad that I didn't get to see Deicide and I still don't get a Deicide t-shirt.
There's always next time.
No. But there's plenty of cool t-shirts that I can get from bands that we did see for the first time. So there's time.
And then we went on to our next interview, and that was with Ludovico Technique. So we got Ben V, who is essentially Ludovico Technique, and that is one of my top interviews we've ever done at Bloodstock.
It was quite good, wasn't it?
I absolutely loved it. He really knew how to kind of build up and play the answers and to the camera as well.
Yeah. I guess compared to a lot of the bands we speak to, he's probably more experienced in that though, isn't he? So
he is. He's been making music for a while and, he's absolutely smashed Spotify streams and
he's made music videos as well. So he's kind of used to playing to the
He's used to playing
to being that front man. And obviously he basically is the band and then he's got his touring musicians.
Yeah.
And he took to the quick fire round well as well.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
And
he knew what crisps were. I think you were about to say potato chips, weren't you?
I think I did actually adapt just in case.
Yeah. But he knew what you meant when you said crisps.
Yeah, and I can't remember his answer because I've not edited that interview yet, but
well, we can't say it now anyway because it's got to come in the interview.
Well, obviously, yeah. Yeah, wait and watch or listen to the interview to find out what Ben V's favourite crisps are.
And another thing that I'll say is that he'd been doing press, was it for about 3 hours straight?
I think so, because he came off stage, about 2:00?
Yeah.
2:15 maybe. And
it was 5:15 when we started.
When we were booked in. So he'd been pretty much doing press and we'd seen him wandering around with other people. Actually, one thing we didn't mention during his set, actually, he did say to the crowd, didn't he, at the end, like, I'm going to be wandering around. If anyone wants an autograph, just come and say hello. And I was like, so old school, isn't it? An autograph.
But he was so nice, really kind of energetic. And for somebody that's been doing press for 3 hours, he was still full of beans. He was...
Yeah, I think I was a bit worried knowing how long he'd been doing it for because we were chatting to Kirsten from Cosa Nostra before we came over. And she's mentioned it, and I was like, is he going to be a bit jaded by this point? Because he's probably had a few similar questions, although we try and mix things up.
Yeah.
As much as we can, but, there's going to be some obvious...
There are going to be some that you're going to ask about, yeah.
He's probably answered 10 times already, but no, he was lovely.
He was fun, energetic, and still in kind of like full makeup and everything.
Yes. Full outfit from
stage. And to say been doing press for 3 hours, he smelled fucking incredible.
Well, I wasn't going to mention it, but yes, he's probably the nicest smelling person I came across all weekend. All year, maybe. No offence, but yeah, he smelled better than you, and he smelled lovely.
Oh, right. And that was the final interview of the day. And I could have chatted to him forever, to be honest.
Yeah, we knew he was on a tight schedule, so we let him go. But yeah, we could have chatted to him for hours.
And work done, we took the kit back to the tent.
Yeah, we did have a quick turnaround, so we knew that we couldn't get comfy because we needed to be back at the safety stage. So it was literally drop the bags. I think we had a couple of quick Jaeger and Cokes just to pep us up for the evening shift.
Yeah, I did Jaeger and a very warm Red Bull.
Yeah.
That was fucking horrific.
It kind of helps you drink it quicker if it's not cold in a way.
Oh, I don't know.
It felt medicinal.
It did feel medicinal, yeah.
With purpose. So I don't even think we sat down. I think we literally just stood in the tent.
Yeah, I think we did, yeah. Well, outside the tent.
Outside the tent, got some air.
Yeah.
Quick, refresh of, things.
Quick top up of booze.
Tidy the makeup up, squirt of deodorant, and all that.
And then off for Combi Christ.
Yes, and whoa, that tent was busy. And I've seen a few people comment since that They could have really headlined the tent that night.
I agree. I think they could have done.
I do wonder if maybe the reason they didn't was because Igor had done it Friday night, and I know they're not dead similar, but
There
there's
are
kind of
similarities.
similarities. So I think that would be my kind of opinion on why they didn't, maybe.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I thought they would have headlined the tent. And it was one of the busiest points I'd ever seen it. I mean, it was really, really busy and very fucking hot. Just so hot.
I know sometimes we said that Sofa Tent, it looks busy when it's not. It's just people on the outside, but it was all the way through.
Yeah. I was expecting to find a bit of space somewhere, and you just couldn't move anywhere. Like, we managed to work our way to the right-hand side of the stage, and it was still heaving there. But Combi Christ absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, the whole tent was literally bouncing.
Yeah.
As we expected it would be.
Yeah, and it was good to hear Combi Christ do a different kind of set.
The one we saw last year was more electronic focus, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
This was definitely more on the metal side of their back catalogue.
Yeah, really heavy, really loud. Absolutely perfect. But it was so fucking warm.
So warm and so busy. I think because where it sat on kind of the Clash Finder line or whatever, I think it was pretty much almost perfectly between Whitechapel and Malevolence. So obviously there were other bands on EMP and New Blood, but there wasn't a lot of other options for people that still wanted music. So I think that added to the business.
It just added to the crowd, didn't it?
And the fact that, they are pretty legendary and they're not over here loads, really.
No, they're not. Although we have seen them twice in 2 years now.
We have, and I do vaguely remember them doing a tour last year around Uprising, I think.
They did, yeah.
But I don't think they've been back since.
I think it's food time again.
It was. I'm sounding excited, aren't I?
Yeah.
Because I got my spud from Spudman, except it wasn't literal Spudman, so that was a bit of a letdown. I think he must have been having a rest. But I was like, I'm going to have a look, because we were that side of the arena, near the Spud van. The queue wasn't too bad at all. A few minutes, really, because it twisted round.
It did, yeah.
Which I thought was interesting, because not many of the other food stalls had that kind of snake barrier type queue, but I guess it made sense, so it wasn't interfering with other vendors.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure about what I wanted to eat, so I looked at a few places, and then I went for a chicken gyro, which was amazing. It was really tasty, but I could have eaten another one literally straight after it. But I do like them. And while we're talking about Spudman, who was doing Spuds not at that particular time, but over the weekend.
I think it must have been on the Friday, because I saw a video of Jamie Jaster serving a potato. Can you imagine queuing for your spud and seeing him serve?
That would have blown your mind, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Very much enjoyed my spud. I had cheese and beans, and he always recommends that you leave it 5 minutes before you eat it so the cheese melts properly, and obviously we had to find a seat, so that naturally happened. And I did overhear some people complain like £10 for a spud, but it was a very good and filling spud, and compared to other food vendors, it was no more expensive, and I thought it was good value for money. The only thing missing for me was some salad cream, because I'm a weirdo and I like salad cream on beans.
You are a weirdo.
Didn't need it though.
Then we knew that Malevolence had started while we were eating, and we were just having a minute because we were in the shade.
Yeah, we were making the most of a sit down in the shade, because we've still got a way to go of the evening, haven't we?
Yeah, hell of a lot. But we did catch a good chunk of Malevolence towards the end, and the biggest pit on earth.
Yeah, I think they got the prize for the most crowd surfers.
It was over 900, wasn't it?
I believe so, yeah. And I think Municipal Waste had the previous record. And they also had the biggest ever pit.
Yeah.
It has since transpired that may have not been a greatest idea, because it went all the way around the back of the sound tower, and I think quite a few people did get injured and hurt and quite distressed by it, because obviously people stand that far back for a reason, because they don't want to be involved in the pits.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be something that changes now. From some of the feedback that's been given out, I think they're going to potentially kind of cordon it off a little bit so it can't happen.
Possibly, or maybe just ask bands not to encourage it.
I don't think that'll happen.
Well, they don't need to go behind the sound tower.
No.
Talk about pits in general, it doesn't normally happen. It was obviously
a one-off.
Quite a rare occurrence, and although they did give some people warning to move out of the way, obviously people standing far back or standing in the shelter of the accessibility platform
they're there for a reason.
Do that. So, if we'd have been stood where we'd have been for Hatebreed, for example, we'd have been caught up in it, and I wouldn't have wanted to be.
No. And we were really far back as well.
Yeah, and I think because people were moving back as well towards the food
causes a bit of a
vendors at the back,
crush,
I think
yeah.
that caused a bit of a crush there as well. So I would have been making I say run for it, probably not because it was busy, but
But yeah, we were was looking at it on the right hand side of the stage, and we were far enough back
yeah.
that we could see everything, but we weren't caught up in everything.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously we couldn't see what issues were kind of evolving at the top of the stage, or the top of the hill rather.
Anyway, Malevolence absolutely smashed it. And after them, we went to watch Lurcher,
Yeah, on the EMP stage.
who were really good. We had a great position. And then I don't know what happened. It's like somebody went all Spinal Tap because the audio, I remember looking at you and going, the fucking audio is just doubled.
Yeah, we were quite far in and we started moving back. And then it was a bit like, is it us? But we overheard someone else saying the same.
Mm.
Yeah, that was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really odd. I wonder if it was to try and get more people there.
Maybe, yeah, because obviously the point of the EMP is it's kind of between main stage actors, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got entertainment there.
So yeah, so we ended up moving a little bit back just because I'd not got my loops in, so I've not took them.
And I got mine, but I couldn't be bothered to fish them out my bag.
Yeah.
We just moved back instead, the old-fashioned way before loops were born.
So we moved back, and yeah, Lurcher really, really fucking loud, but really, really good. And definitely worth watching. I think, did we watch anybody else on the EMP?
We didn't. Again, similar to New Blood, I've been looking through and there were quite a few bands that we wanted to see, but the timing just didn't work out, unfortunately.
Yeah. I know I'd got several bands down to watch, and yeah, things just happen, don't they? You don't get to watch everybody.
Yeah. Yersin, for example, who were our guests and we were really hoping to catch, but we didn't get a chance to, so hoping they come nearby again soon.
Then we went back to Serpent's Lair. We were going to watch Silosis, but after how busy it was for Combi Christ, we thought it's probably best if we just go and get a drink and just have a minute before Architects.
Yeah, while we're in Serpent's Lair, we kind of got a drink and then we were going to maybe go and see what the tent was looking like for Silosis, but then we heard that they got sound issues and kind of 10 minutes into their set and then not really started. Yeah,
I think there were at least a good 10, 15 minutes of delays from what we've been told. And at that point, it's kind of like, well, they're probably not going to have much of a set now. So we decided to stay in Serpent's Lair a bit longer and then go and watch the Architects.
Who, obviously, their first time headlining a festival. It reminded me very much, obviously not on the same grand scale, but in a similar way to when Bring Me the Horizon obviously headlined Download last year. You know, they still had the kind of production setup going on and obviously from a similar era to when Bring Me started as well. So I just found it quite a reminiscent atmosphere of that set last year.
With the Architects, I thought they seemed to love every minute of being there. The crowd absolutely loved them. I thought it was an amazing headline set. Like you say, very similar, kind of like how Bring Me did at Download.
Yeah, I feel like they weren't necessarily everyone's cup of tea to be the headliner, but obviously if they weren't, then you'd go off and do something else.
Yeah. However, so I was reading a review from Metal Hammer about the Architects, about their Bloodstock headline set, and it blows my mind because one of the quotes is, a good show as opposed to a legendary one. Architects don't quite rise to the occasion at first ever UK festival headline show.
That's interesting.
Were they watching a different fucking show to everybody else?
Maybe.
Metal Hammer fucking need to get a grip because I thought they were incredible.
Yeah, I thought they smashed it myself.
Everybody around us was going crazy for them and they seemed to be enjoying it. So I don't know what Metal Hammer's fucking talking about.
I don't know. But yeah, I think they played everything I wanted them to play.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you on that.
Good mix of tracks for me personally, at least.
Yeah, absolutely bossed it. And they will just get bigger and bigger and headline more and more, I think, after that set.
Yeah, don't see why not.
And that was my final band of the night, because as much as you tried, I didn't come with you for your final band.
Corpy Clarny. To be honest, I nearly didn't.
You were kind of, I'm really tired.
I'm tired. I've got to get up early. But I felt like I'd banged on about them so much, I couldn't not at least watch some of them. And honestly, if you thought the tent was busy for Combi Christ, it was even busier for them.
Yeah.
It was absolutely heaving. I managed to squeeze in and then I looked behind me and I was like, I can't even see a way out of this. And everyone was just jumping and dancing. It was such a fun atmosphere.
Yeah.
I'm glad I went. I don't know how many songs I stayed for, maybe 5 or 6.
I feel you were there longer than that.
Was I?
You were gone a while.
I'll have to check back on the footage because I've not watched it all back yet. Yeah, I was really torn. Like, part of me just wanted to stay for the whole set, but I could feel it getting busier, and I could feel myself getting a bit more squashed in. You know, people kind of naturally shuffling forward and stuff. And although it was like a really fun atmosphere, or at least by where I was stood was, I was also half conscious that I should probably get some sleep. And it was annoying because we knew that the DJ Rocklips, Seed and Akira DJ set was on after them, which we did
I really wanted to stay
wanted to
for
stay
that.
up for. If we'd not had such an early start Sunday again, then we absolutely would have been.
Oh yeah, we would have been there till the close, I think.
Yeah. But knowing that we'd got to be back in the arena for 10:30 again the next day at the latest,
Yeah,
it was just,
just too much.
If we could have hung on back at the tent till maybe 12 or 1 the next day, fine.
Yeah, oh yeah. But
yeah,
couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it.
Yeah, Corpatani was as fun as I expected them to be. I didn't get to hear Wodka or Jägermeister. I'm sure they'll have saved those for closer to the end. But I did get to hear the man with a plan, which is you in the song. So.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think was I drinking coffee at that point?
I think you'd had a coffee, yeah.
Yeah.
With extra shots, of course.
Yes. But there'll be more on that tomorrow.
Yeah. And I think did I grab a peppermint tea, or was that Friday night? It might have been Friday I did that.
Genuinely can't remember.
I can't remember. Anyway, we went back to the tent.
And it was the coldest fucking night.
Oh God, it was Saturday night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because Thursday night and Friday night had been fine, because we didn't take duvets for the first time since our first ever camping experience.
Mm.
And I was fine Thursday night with shorts, t-shirt, sleeping bag. Same again Friday. And I woke up in the night and I was just shivering from cold, and I genuinely thought I was ill or had got sunstroke and not realised. And then you put hoodies and joggers on in the night, didn't you?
Yeah. You know it's cold if I have to put like a hoodie on and a pair of trackies on.
So I remember looking over and thinking, I'm sure you didn't go to sleep in your hoodie. And then you could overhear everyone else saying the same thing. How cold was it last night?
Yeah, and the amount of times I've woken up at a festival and you do get cold quickly, but how cold everybody else says it is.
Mm.
And I'm usually the one that goes, was it?
To be fair, it had dropped a little bit, probably that last time we went back to the tent, and I think I took my hoodie back with me and tied it round me because I knew it was going to get colder later.
Mm.
So I'd got that on when we were watching Architects. But yeah, it was a cold old night. So that was our Saturday at Bloodstock. Obviously, if you want to see what we got up to as well, check out our socials. We're on Instagram, Twitter, or X, and Threads at Ready to Mosh Cast, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at Ready to Mosh. As we speak, I believe some of our interviews will already be out there in the world, so make sure you start checking those out, and we've got more to come over the next week or so too. We've also got a vlog, which will be out at some point as well soon. Don't forget as well, even more importantly, we have got a Patreon, which you can subscribe to for £3 a month, and for that you get to listen to all the bloopers that don't make it in the show, early access to our episodes wherever possible, and you get to find out before anyone else does what's coming up in the month ahead. So go and check that out on Patreon. We'd be very happy if you did. But if you would like to support the podcast for free, then please just give us a 5-star rating on wherever you're listening and a lovely review. Share us around, tell people about us, and that would make us very happy as well. And we'll be back again with a full episode that isn't an interview soon, where you can find out what we got up to on Sunday. Make it see red, Moog.